So you're a young man and you can't stop touching your celery stick. Every time you get the slightest of urges, you're straight onto the hub so that you can bust one out. And after it happens, you're literally sickened at the mess that you've created. You think, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why do I keep doing this? And well, the thing is, it's not your fault, man. But if you want the solution to undoing all the damage that corn has done to your brain without having to pay for some crazy overpriced course or without having to completely alter your lifestyle, then keep watching. I vividly remember being sat at my desk in my uni room a few years ago. It was a small room, the furniture was old, it was like second-hand stuff and none of it matched up. And the room even smelt a little bit musty because there was like speckles of mould on the ceiling and shit like that. And I remember feeling this intense sense of pressure and nervousness for an assignment that was due in like 2 days' time. And at that time in my life, my brain just could not function properly. It could not comprehend the importance of staying focused. It just didn't know how to do it. Because instead of focusing on the assignment, which would literally determine my final grade for that entire year, I couldn't help but procrastinate by watching porn for hours and hours on end. I mean, it even got to the point where I would just watch this shit for pure means of entertainment. Like, I wouldn't even wank, right? I would just watch it like some kind of freak. And I did this frequently. I did it frequently so that I could escape from the stress and the pressure of the assignment that was due in 2 days' time. But at that time, little did I realise that that bad habit of mine would become something that I wouldn't stop doing for years and years and years. I mean, it even got to the point where I would completely fuck up real life sexual encounters with girls because the reality of those moments was so different to what I had been watching on the hub. And it was these particular moments where I realised the absolute damage it was causing to my brain. And it led me to no choice but to change the way that I do things. And I'm at a pretty good point nowadays where I don't even have the desire to watch it. So let's just get a few things straight, okay, so that we're on the same wavelength with this. A porn habit is a symptom, right? It's not a root cause. So by that, I mean watching porn and being addicted to some pixels on a screen is not the main issue you have. That is not the main problem that you are having in your life, okay? Because there is no man that has ambitions and goals and accomplishments, right? There is no man with that kind of status that has hours to kill jerking off to pixels on a screen. So by that, I mean that if you are a man that has so much to do and so many things to accomplish in his day, you will be a man that won't even have the time or the desire to go and watch porn and to wank, right? And that in itself shows that the porn itself isn't the problem. It shows that it's just a symptom of the lack of productivity in other areas of your life. It shows that you're not doing anything else with your life. You're not even trying, you're not even working hard, you're not doing the important things. And the fact that you do have time to watch porn, the fact that you are constantly searching through the hub and you're constantly wanking, it means your life lacks direction. It's pretty much that simple. So if you fix this and you start focusing on other important things in your life, I guarantee you, you won't even want to watch porn anymore, okay? So put everything aside and set goals for 30 days and actually take the action to complete these goals, and I guarantee your porn addiction will slowly start to fade away. And the more you stay consistent with this and the more you keep up with it, the easier it's going to be for you, the better it's going to be for you, and the better results you're going to have. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. Right, so you know porn is bad for you, but you just can't stop. And there are so many men that are in that position. I've also been in that position, as I've explained quite a few times. But the main reason for this is because of a term called hypofrontality. And I don't know if I've said that correctly. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a scientist. But essentially, hypofrontality can be imagined like this. If you think about how ocean waves erode coastal cliffs, over time, the cliffs start to deteriorate because the waves crash into them. This is essentially like the hypofrontality effect, right? Because when you consistently watch porn, it erodes your frontal cortex over time. So imagine your brain is the cliffs and the porn is the waves, right? And when they're constantly bashing against each other, it creates this erosion. And this is what's happening to your brain, because the more you watch porn and the more waves that hit your brain, the more you are literally up your mindset, because this makes your willpower fragile. When you are constantly attacking your frontal cortex, you are making your willpower fragile. And this makes it very hard to be disciplined, because the more you do it, the harder it will become to stop. So this is another reason why porn is literally fucking up your brain. Like, it's actually physically destroying your fucking brain. It's pretty scary when you think about it. And now for the next thing I want to talk about. It's that porn cravings are very different from libido and genuine sexual desire. There's actually a real difference in wanting to watch porn and wanting to have real life sexual encounters with real women, okay? And you shouldn't confuse the two. You have to train to identify this, because porn cravings are cerebral, and this means that, you know, you might feel like a tightness in your chest when you're, you know, desperate, you have an urge, right? You might feel like a tightness in your chest, or you might feel restless because, you know, you're desperate to release or whatever. This is different to libido, because libido is all encompassing, and this means that you crave physical intimacy, not necessarily just mental stimulation to pixels on a screen, right? And not necessarily just physical sensation with your hand and your bloody penis, okay? Next, porn use starts off as a positive feedback loop, which gives you feelings of pleasure and euphoria every time you watch. But it slowly transitions into a negative feedback loop, where each time you watch it makes you feel worse than before. How fucked is that, man? Like, it starts off great and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And this is just so crazy. Like, it's so crazy to actually hear those words. It just makes you realize how fucking bad this shit is for your mindset, how bad it is for your brain, right? Because at this point, you actually really need a lot more effort to quit. But that doesn't mean it isn't possible, okay? Because I've done it. And trust me when I say this, trust me when I say I've had it bad, okay? When I was at uni, I mean, I don't even want to think about how many times a day I would. It was a lot, okay? It was too much, but I got out of it. And if I can, you most certainly can. But essentially, to quit porn, you need to do these following things. You need to rewire your reward pathway, then you need to rebalance your brain chemistry, and then you need to create a new identity that separates you from your old self. And I would say that is probably the most important one, and it's actually the easiest one to understand, because essentially it means that you are creating a new life where you have so many other important things, right, to do in your life. When you have these things, when you have other things that are more important to do in your life, that's when you're able to quit porn, because you won't need it anymore. In fact, it will just be a waste of time for you. So you want to be focusing on holistic self-improvement. That means focus on the other things in life that you know will improve your life, because this is what will help you to build the new neural pathways. And this is ultimately, as I said, the best way to undo your porn damaged brain. And I think the absolute best way that you can do this is by going to the gym and eating clean food, because when you do this, and you can physically see your progress, and you can make progress pretty quickly when you go to the gym. I mean, within 2 months, maybe even a month in some cases, you can physically see changes in your body. You can physically see improvements in your body. This is going to help you to realize that you are actually improving your life, and it's going to help you to realize that you don't need this shit. You don't need to watch porn, okay? And this doesn't mean it's going to be easy, okay? Because you will relapse. You just will. That's just kind of the facts. But, you know, pick your chin up. You don't dwell on it, and you keep moving forwards. You don't need to count the days that you haven't fapped for or anything like that, because this is more about having a lifestyle, not necessarily being on a NoFap movement. Now, if you want to speed up your gym progress and you want to speed up the muscle mass that you gain, you want to be really focusing on your diet, and you want to be making sure that you're eating lots of protein and eating lots of the correct nutrients. And if you want to know exactly what they are, I would suggest you get my free diet plan from the description below, because this is going to help you to speed up this process. And at the end of the day, time is money, and we don't want to be wasting the time we have on this planet. So believe you can, and you're more than halfway there.